Hey everyone, controversial Fantano here to review this new Anthony Fantano controversy. I'm just kidding, but in real note, we are going to be discussing my thoughts on this kind of new Anthony Fantano controversy. And you might be saying, what did Anthony Fantano do this time? Because usually his controversies are really just music takes, and this one technically is a music take, but it's more on a comment I guess he made in it, which I kind of passed over it from his review. I listened to the new Halsey album. I'm not going to do a review just because I feel like my opinion would be a bit too swayed by this controversy, where I feel like I would want to rate it highly because of this controversy or that, which at that point I just shouldn't review it because it might be biased. So I'm not going to give my opinion on the music, I'm not going to give a rating on it. I wasn't really thrilled by the album, kind of. Not mid on the album, but I wasn't really that impressed by it. But I did like the kind of narrative theme of it. But to talk about this controversy and give a little more, Halsey released this album, the Great Impersonator, which very dark album, which considering Halsey's music has a bit of a dark tone with it and subject matter, kind of fit right home. But this one got a little more specific because one of the big things was at the time of her really making this album and coming to music, she was in a really dark place. I don't know really the specifics, but she really thought she was going to die at a point, so this really influenced the music, which I did kind of notice when I was listening to, where this was a lot more darker in terms of it. But the controversy kind of stems from Fantano's comment that this album felt like main character syndrome. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's kind of what it was said on it. It's still in the review thing. I don't know if Fantano has responded to it, but, this has caused a lot of uproar about it, which I'm not going to say is undeserved. It kind of makes sense that there'd be controversy over this kind of comment, because I don't know the specifics on why or what caused her to think she was going to die, if she had an illness, if they thought she had an illness, what was going on with it, if it was a depression thing, which, if that's the case, I hope she's in a better place. But the real matter comes over to whether people believe that Fantano knew this or not, and I don't think he knew, because I didn't know. I don't think most people, unless you were a diehard Halsey fan, would have known. So you can't really say he should have known, or how dare he not know this, or everybody knows it, because not everybody knew it, unless you were maybe a diehard Halsey fan. Even then, you probably didn't know the extent of it, but which is a fair response. But my other response is coming from someone who's not really a huge Halsey fan. I like a couple of her songs, but I'm not a big fan of musically wise with her. She seems like a cool person. My big kind of issue with the comment is it's a very bold comment to make, especially if you don't know the reasoning behind the songwriting. Because, I've been critical of commercializing, depression in music. I'm not a fan of MGK and Trippie Redd's EP they released this year. What was it? Fucking Genre Sad Boy, or whatever it's called. That one was very blatantly commercializing the depression thing of it there, which has been a big critique of MGK, rightfully so. And it kind of draws a line of what's commercializing or playing up this kind of depression. It's a very slippery slope to get into. So if you're going to claim it towards someone, or claim it's a main character syndrome, which is a new comment I've heard, is a very new comment towards something with depression, it needs to have some level of accuracy or foundation to it, because it's just a very bold take, and if it's wrong, or it's just in poor taste, you look like a douche. Which I don't hate Anthony Fantano. I watch his videos. I generally like his stuff, even if I disagree with certain takes of his. Just because I disagree with certain takes doesn't mean I have to dislike him of it there. He's had controversies before. I've not been a fan of what he said or did, or certain points of it, but it doesn't mean I have to hate him. I don't have to agree with everything. But this is one of those controversies where I'm just kind of scratching my head at it, because when he said it in the video, I was agreeing with his takes because I had listened to the album, but I was scratching my head at that comment, because if he would have left that comment out, other than the diehard Halsey fans, I don't think this would have just been another one of his not good review, him rating it not good reviews, that, it's controversial for maybe a day or two, as it usually happens whenever he rates an album bad, unless it's a very divisive album, and he would have moved on. But now he made a single comment that maybe he didn't think it was that bad of a comment to make. Maybe he genuinely did think it was a main character syndrome. I'm not gonna assume of it there. I know he doesn't really address comments, at least in YouTube videos, but he does it sometimes on Twitter. But he should, I feel like this is one of those where he really should, because this really messes up any, opinions he might have on, mental health and music, and you can draw other stuff from it for other opinions, which I'm not trying to discredit his opinions or stuff on that. I'm just saying that if he addresses it, maybe he has a reason why he said it. Maybe if he is in the wrong, he owns up to it, which would probably be the best option, even if, he has his own reasoning. I feel like trying to fight this would not be good, but trying to ignore it would probably be worse. But it's just a weird thing. And then the only other real comment I can think of, because the other reason I was scratching my head, even ignoring the fact of saying, main character syndrome for, this depressive episode in the album and all that stuff, is it's an album made by an artist. There's a level of main character syndrome in any album, really. Even if it's based on a topic thing. Obviously there's some else that maybe don't, the newest Godspeed You Black Emperor is not main character syndrome. It's talking about a very prevalent issue right now that is very devoid of, them themselves, just not their opinion, but where they stand on it, which is obvious, but you get the idea. But then you get, would you say Igor's main character syndrome? A level of it, yeah, but, that's obvious. It's to be expected. It's their art piece. It's what they're making. I can't see it as a criticism for an album. If I said it for Igor, that'd be one of the worst critiques ever. If I said it for, would you say that for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? Would you say that? Because that's all about him. If I said I'm giving this album a 5, oh my god, just the main character syndrome on it. I'm that's I would grill myself for that take. If I said it for Good Kid, Mad City, if I said it for Damn, if I said it for any of that, it just wouldn't make sense to me. And I don't know why this is now when he would make that take, because I don't think he's ever made this comment before. He's ever even mentioned main character syndrome in music, unless it's unfound ego in music, but generally he doesn't really seem to care about that. So it's a really weird time to pick it, so it just kind of stands out of a very wishy-washy take he makes on it, which sometimes he'll make comments on album that I don't know why that wasn't a critique on another album, and then maybe it's a critique that you feel should be on an album, but he defends it, and then he doesn't defend on another album. Kind of weird. That's kind of what I'm hoping, is it's just one of those it flew over his head on it there. I hope there's a level of just innocence to it, because I don't ever want that to be an actual opinion of someone. Is that a depression thing of it there? So don't attack him for that. But I've kind of talked enough, kind of given, I guess, what I think of it there. I'm not going to put words in his mouth more, or say I think he's a bad person or he's an innocent person. I don't think I'm a person to really say what is going on for him or this whole situation. I don't think people are overreacting. For once, I don't think Twitter is overreacting towards this, because I feel like this is a controversy that's actually kind of warranted, but it's just a matter of the intent behind what Fantano said. But that's gonna be it from me. Bye.